Okay, so now let's look at chapter 7. Okay, we're going to have a couple of questions here 3 to 7, 9, 10, 12, 19, 21, 20, 24, 26. We're not going to be running through all of them because I do expect you to work on these yourselves, but I'm just going to capture some of the broad questions over here. Okay, so let's look at questions, let's say question 3. Okay, so basically, we have to look at whether or not these statements are true or false. Okay, so stocks with a beta of 0 offer an expected return of 0. Now, is that true? Okay, so the answer is that it's false because according to the CAPM, when the beta is 0, the excess return should be 0. So we can still expect to get the risk-free rate, right? So the rate return is not 0, but the excess return should be 0. All right. So B, the CAPM implies that investors require a high return to hold via high volatile securities. Now, this is true. We know that volatility corresponds to idiosyncratic risk. Okay. So the CAPM is really about the fact that you should be compensated not for volatility or risk, but for covariance, systematic or beta. So you're compensated for systematic risk, which is beta, but you're not compensated for idiosyncratic risk because you really should be holding the market portfolio, right? So, so the answer is false. Okay, CAPM implies investors will only require risk premiums for systematic risk. Investors are never rewarded for bearing higher risk if the volatility results from firm-specific risk, which can be diversified away. Okay, so part C, you can construct a portfolio with a beta of 7.5 by investing 0.75 to investment in T-bills and the remainder in the market portfolio. Is this true or false? This is actually false, okay? Because what it's saying over here, you're putting 75% of your portfolio in T-bills, right? And in a market portfolio. So if you did that, your actual beta would be 0.25. Now, if you wanted to get a beta of 0.75, what you'd be doing here is that you'd be investing 75% of your investment margin in the market portfolio and the remainder, 25%, in the T-bills. Okay, so that finishes up for question number 3. So what I'm going to let you know now as well is that usually our tutorials go on for about an hour and a half. So don't expect the tutorials to be going on for like 90 minutes because usually tutorials, they're interactive. I ask you guys questions, we have a bit of a discussion. So basically, this is a perfect example where I actually have a discussion with you guys would answer back, and that would actually take some time as well. So let's look at the next question. Okay, so here are data, okay, on 2 companies. The T-bill is 4% and the market is 6%, right? So we have these 2 prices. These 2 have a company. We have a dollar discount store averaging $5, forecasted returns, set deviation returns, and the beta. Okay, so what would be the fair return of each company according to the capital asset pricing model, right? So basically, we got to open up a spreadsheet over here. So open up Excel. Okay, so we know the CAPM formula is going to be ER equals to RF plus beta times with the ERM minus RF. Okay, so the expected return is going to be the risk-free rate plus beta times the expected return minus risk-free rate. Okay, so basically, if this is the case, we know that the risk-free rate here is, okay, so RF equals to 4%, okay, and market risk premium, or ERM minus RF, okay, that's going to be 6%. Okay, now we have the two companies' forecast return, STD deviation, beta, this is 1.5, this is 1.0. This one's are all percentages, that's going to be $1 discount, everything 5. Okay, so what we have over here is that we have 12, 11, 8, and 10. Okay, so what we want to do now, we want to get expected return. So that's this risk-free rate plus beta multiplied by the excess return. So at 13%. So expected return would tell us, wait, okay, that would actually be, so we've applied the CAPM formulas to these two, all right? So what happens is it should be 13% and it's 10%. So what happens we can see here is that with that, sorry, that is the that answer we have over here. So is it a fair return? Now, what we see over here is that the forecasted return is 11%, is 12%. Okay, so that means the dollar discount store is actually going to be slightly underpriced. Okay, and what happens is that the everything $5 store is actually overpriced because basically CAPM tells us that everything $5 should be giving us 10%, but it's giving us 11, so basically it's overpriced. This is actually underpriced because it should be giving us 30, but it's giving us 12. So that actually tells us the answers for question 5. So for chapter 5, okay, dollar discount is going to be overpriced because dollar discount store is overpriced. It's underpriced, okay? So why is this the case? Okay, so dollar discount store is giving us 13%, right? And the forecasted return is 12%. Okay, so we think that it's actually going to be like overpriced ultimately because the CAPM tells us you're getting 13%, but the forecast return is 12, right? So because it's less than, therefore it's going to be overpriced. For the $5 everything, so it's underpriced because actually the CAPM tells us that it's going to give us, it should be giving us 10%, but it's forecasted to be 11%. Okay, so basically that's the reason, that's how we actually use the CAPM and compare it with forecast returns to actually understand whether something's overpriced or underpriced, right? So the CAPM will actually tell us a gauge of what is a fair return. So the fair return is really given by these amounts over here. So if this is fair and this is giving us more, that means it's underpriced. If the CAPM is 13% and it's giving us less, that means it's overpriced, okay, because it's actually giving us less than what it should be. So basically, Johnson was 4 because forecasted return is less than the CAPM. Therefore, forecasted is higher than the fair return. Okay, so and vice versa for the other company.